actually got it queued up. But Jim, on the first number, you mean the Shalom Aleichem? From that, which one?
Yeah, that one. Oh, you know what? Hold on a second.
So I should put this on airplane mode so it doesn't ring. There we go.
Let's split the difference.
This is
This thing.
it'll be there.
Do you know who's lighting candles?
Sorry?
Who's lighting candles?
The bookmans.
Okay.
And I told them just to recite the bracha.
Okay, we should. 6:03. Page 434. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon, mi melech, malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon, mi melech, malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon, mi melech, malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom to those who are joining us from home. Shabbat Shalom to those who are joining us here at Holy Blossom Temple. And a special welcome to our guests and friends from the Intercultural Dialogue Institute. We're so glad that you are with us tonight. Let's take a moment before we turn to lighting candles. Maybe you can find someone nearby that you don't yet know. Introduce yourself. Wish one another Shabbat Shalom. Okay, so we're going to go back to Medina. Okay, great. The prayer book can be found tucked in the chair just in front of you, or for folks at home, there should be a link that will bring you right to Sidur Pirchei Kodesh, page 105.
Ay, 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 die, 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 ay, die, die, ay, die, die, yada, die, 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 die. Ay, die, 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 ay, die, die, ay, die, die, yada, die, 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 die. Ahavatach, Ahavatach, Anna Elena Rifa, Nala Beharot La, Noam Zivach, Noam Zivach, Azetit Chazek, Vetit Rapeh, Vehayetalach, Shivchat Olam.
The blessing for candle lighting can be found on page 106. We invite the Bookmans to lead us. Stephen and Jillian are the new co-chairs of our Interfaith Engagement Committee. We look forward to your leadership and all the good bridges that will be built. Thanks to you.
Come, let us welcome the Sabbath. May its radiance illumine our heart as we bless these candles for Sabbath. May the warmth of their glow peace impart. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת. May God bless bless thee with Sabbath joy. May God bless thee with Sabbath holiness. May God bless thee with Sabbath
Tishma'u. Today, if only we would listen to God's voice. This word hayom comes with some urgency about it, reminding us to look at each and every day with the fullness of its potential, not to let one moment slip by without realizing what can become if only we will it, if only we will hear God's voice.
Page 109. The heavens will rejoice, the earth exult,
the sea and its fullness will roar. Ya'alos sadai v'chol asher bo, az yiranenu kol atzei ya'ar. The fields will be glad and all that is in them. Then all the trees of the forest will sing for joy. Yismechu hashamayim v'tagel ha'aretz. Yeram hayam umlo'o. Yeram hayam umlo'o. Sedai, v'chol asher bo ya'alo sedai. Ay, ya'alo sedai, v'chol asher bo ya'alo sedai. Ay, az yiranenu kol hatzeyar, az yiranenu kol hatzeyar, az yiranenu kol hatzeyar, az yiranenu kol hatzeyar, ya'alo sedai, v'chol asher bo ya'alo sedai. Ay, ya'alo sedai, v'chol asher bo ya'alo sedai. Ay. הצייר, אז ירננו כל הצייר, אז ירננו כל הצייר, אז ירננו כל הצייר, יעלו שדי בכל אשר בו, יעלו שדי, איי 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 איי, יעלו שדי בכל אשר בו, יעלו שדי, איי 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 איי. Continue to welcome in Shabbat with song and with joy and with praise. Lecha Dodi, page 115. Ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 likrat kala, ya la 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 pene Shabbat, pene Shabbat nekapela, shamor bezachor meriburecha. השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. יא אלי אלי, יא לה לה לך דודי, Ya la 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 likat kala, ya la 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 pene Shabbat nekabela, likrat Shabbat lechol v'nelcha, ki mekor הברכה מראש מקדם נצוחה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. יא אלי אלי, יא לה 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 לך דודי, יא לה 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 לקראת כלה, יא לה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי פעורך קומי אורי, אורי אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. יא אלי אלי, יא לה 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 לך דודי, יא לה 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 לקראת כלה, יא לה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה.
Welcome in the Shabbat bride.
בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולתו כבודי עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. יא אלי אלי אלי, יא אלי 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 אלי, יא אלי 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 אלי, יא אלי אלי אלי, יא אלי אלי, יא אלי אלי. הכנותי לקראת קהלה בני שבת בקבלה. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות. צדיק התמר יברח, כארז בלבנון יזכה, שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפרחו. אור ינבון בשיבה, דשנים ורעננים יהיו, להגיד כי השר אדוני, צורי ולא הבלעת בו.
We've sung the Psalms of Kabbalat Shabbat. We've sung the Lecha Dodi welcoming of Shabbat. And the themes of those prayers and those songs vacillate between universal themes, where we are at one with all creation. We are like the grasses of the fields and the trees of the forest, all coming together in one orchestra, one chorus, singing praises to God. And on the other hand, particularistic themes, where we see that we are part of a unique people with a unique a unique path to walk through the world. And so before we turn to our main prayer service, which will begin on page 119, I thought I would share this poem with you entitled, "We Are of a Tribe." We plant seeds in the ground and dreams in the sky, hoping that someday the roots of one will meet the upstretched limbs of the other. It hasn't happened yet. We share the sky, all of us, the whole world. Together we are a tribe of eyes that look upward, even as we stand on uncertain ground. The earth beneath us moves quiet and wild, its boundaries shifting, its muscles wavering. The dream of sky is indifferent to all of this, impervious to borders, fences, reservations. The dream of sky requires no passport. Blue will not be fenced. Blue will not be a crime. Look up. Stay a while. Let your breathing slow and know that you always have a home here. We rise together in prayer.
את אדוני המבורך, ברוך אדוני לעולם
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach sha'arim, uvitvuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umasader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai Tzevaot Shemo. El Chai v'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim.
Umavir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai Tzevaot Shemo. El Chai v'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Torah u'mitzvot chokim u'mishpatim otanu limadetam. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shochenu v'kumenu nasiach b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נהגה יומם תכל תשים ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל, שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד, ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Page 124. All this we hold to be true and sure. You alone are our God, there is none else, and we are Israel, your people. You are sovereign. You deliver us from the hands of oppressors and save us from the fists of tyrants. You do wonders without number, marvels that surpass our understanding. You give us our life. By your help we survive all who seek our destruction. You did wonders for us in the land of Egypt, miracles and marvels in the land of Pharaoh. You led your people Israel out forever to serve you in freedom. When your children witnessed your power, they extolled you and gave you thanks. Willingly they enthroned you, and full of joy, Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang this song.
Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha be'edav hakodesh, nora tehilo. מלכותך רעה ובניך מוכי הים לפני משה זה לי יענו ויאמרו זה לי יענו ויאמרו את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We pray together for God's protection. Grant that we may lie down in peace, Adonai our God, and raise us up, O Sovereign, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel, and for your name's sake, be our help. Shield us from hatred and plague. Keep us from war and famine and anguish. Subdue our inclination to evil. O God, our guardian and helper, our gracious and merciful sovereign, give us refuge in the shadow of your wings. Guard our coming and our going, that now and always we may have life and peace. Praised are you, Adonai, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem.
ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני, הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבר וירעפש וביום השביעי שבת וירעפש. הגדול ויתקדש שם רבה.
Amen.
יעלמה דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחי לכל בית ישראל בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב יאמרו אמן. יהי שמרה במברך לעלם ועלמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמר קודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דהמירן בעלמה ויאמרו אמן. אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו אלוהי אברהם אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב אלוהי שרה אלוהי רבקה אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה. האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא אל עליון גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם מכלכל חיים בחסד מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדומה לך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Amen. We continue praying the Amidah privately, the prayers written by our ancestors on the following pages, together with the prayers which we write for ourselves on this day.
Salam Shalom. Whatever language we speak, it is our universal message, one for peace. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam shalom. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam shalom. Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu. Salam shalom. Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam. Salam shalom. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam shalom. Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam.
For those who are in a synagogue for the first time tonight, welcome. We're glad you're here. And one thing that I have learned through my travels and my study of Jewish history is that there is no distinct architecture for a synagogue. Instead, we take on the artful and architectural forms of the places wherever we live on the planet. So if there's a synagogue in Turkey or in Morocco, it likely is built to look like a mosque. And if you live in a city like Toronto and your synagogue happened to be built in the 1930s, it probably is built to look like Timothy Eaton Church. But there is one distinguishing feature. According to the Shulchan Aruch, every synagogue must be built, the prayer spaces specifically, must have windows, at least one window, which tells you something about how Jewish prayer works. Yes, it is an internal exercise, and yes, we have a special unity with those who pray with us in those four walls. But the window reminds us that in order for our prayers to be full, and in order for our prayers to take flight, they must include concerns with the world outside. So we turn now to our prayers for healing on page 137. And I want to share with you one more teaching about this interplay between the particularistic themes of our prayers and the universalistic themes of our prayers. Rav Kook, the chief Ashkenazi rabbi of pre-state Israel, talked about the four songs that a person can sing. There is the song of the self, And tonight we call into our prayers for healing these friends and family of our congregation who are closest to us: Johanna Falk, Hannah Bat Gittel, Joel Sears, Gittel Yaakova Bat Sarah Ushmuel, Moshe Gershon ben Rachalea Uvaruch Chaim Shalom Chaim, Eliyahu ben Rachel v'Chaim Yitzchak, Sarah bat Devorah, Hannah Gittel bat Geula uMoshe, Elisheva bat Sarah Gila v'Nachman, Moshe ben Elka v'Yitzchak, Daniel ben Reza uVaruch, Bluma Tziril bat Shena Frima, Gavriel Nisan ben Reza uShulam, and Hudi Cherendorf. Are there any prayers, any names you wish to include in our prayers for healing tonight with this first song of the Self? And then we expand the circle to the song of the Jewish people. And so there are prayers for healing tonight necessary for that internal struggle which we witness from over the ocean, that internal struggle between our own brothers and sisters in Israel. We worry about the direction and the democracy of the Jewish state. And tomorrow night, joining the thousands who are demonstrating in the streets will be none other than a leading voice, Rabbi Rick Jacobs, who is the head of the Reform Movement of North America. So he's been invited to come and speak in Hebrew to address the crowds in the demonstration there. May his prayers bring healing to that place. And then Rav Kook says we expand the circle of healing again, a third time, for the song of humanity. And so tonight we call into our prayers for healing those who are suffering the aftershocks of the earthquakes in Turkey and Syria, those who are still healing from the physical and psychological wounds of the relentless war in Ukraine. This week marks the 1-year anniversary since the Russian invasion. And finally, Rav Kook says there is the fourth song, the most expansive song of all, and that is the song of all existence, which unites us with all creation and all worlds. And so we call into our prayers tonight prayers for the indigenous peoples who live on this land, who have lived here for millennia. We respond to their 96 calls for action so that they might regain their language and their rituals and their pride and their own heritage, and protection for and healing for the land itself, for all the intricately interwoven parts of this beautiful world. So with this fourfold song, Rav Kook says we should do our utmost not to take up only the song of the self, not only the song of the Jewish people, not only the song of humanity, not only the song of the worlds, but take them all on and weave them together in one single prayer. My sense is that this great city of Toronto is growing a little bit weary as the winter lags on. And it's more than the weather, the cold, and the latest snow. There's something else that's taking hold, and I want to name it, call attention to it, and see if we can talk about it. I think it's important to talk about it. In addition to personal losses that I know some here tonight are carrying, there is a wider spread concern in our city. We feel it in the weight of how expensive the city is. Some people are struggling for rent or school tuition, and that's real. I believe the recent announcement about the mayor is demoralizing for all of us, and we have to be able to talk about that too. The violence that is on public transportation is a worry. I spoke with a congregant last week who was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and now is rattled and worries about walking the streets of this city that she loves, that she's been walking proudly and confidently and without any fear for all the decades of her long life. And you may have heard that white supremacists have united under the banner of a day of hate, which is this weekend. And so synagogues everywhere in North America are just a little bit on edge. And so the month of Adar comes right on time, as it always does. So Tuesday morning, we welcomed in Rosh Chodesh Adar, the new month of Adar, which is colored by the carnival festival of Purim, which is on its way. And Adar has a way of laughing in the face of hardship, a kind of mocking laugh to say, I will laugh my way through this life and embrace all the good that there is, not denying the good that is missing or the good that is under constant threat. But for a moment, I'm going to laugh, because some of these sorrows are only lightened, the burdens are only lightened through laughter. The rabbis of the Mishnah teach us, Mishanichnas Adar Marbim B'Simcha, that when the month of Adar enters, our joy increases. And one way to understand this, I shared Tuesday morning, is that we should increase our joy in the month of Adar through the intensity of life, meaning we should be willing to take some risks, whether it's through business or in love. Adar is the month for intensifying our joy and a willingness to step outside our comfort zone and even laugh in the face of hardship. Now, Rabbi Marmer of blessed memory, Alav HaShalom, used to teach us that a Jew is someone who knows how to cry with one eye and laugh with the other. That is a life skill that we should hone. And I'd like to share just two teachings with you, one very old and one relatively new, about laughter and the sacred virtue of laughter. So the first comes from the Babylonian Talmud, which was closed around the year 500, and many of the stories that are captured there, woven together with the laws that are captured there, are stories of great imagination. So this is one of those stories. Eliyahu Hanavi, Elijah the prophet, who was a biblical character, long gone, and yet he kept company with different rabbis from time to time. So one day, Eliyahu Hanavi is walking through the marketplace with Rabbi Barucha. And the rabbi's asking Eliyahu Hanavi, who has ascended to heaven long ago, I'm curious, of all these people in the busy marketplace, who has a place secured for them in heaven? And the rabbi points out a very upstanding businessman who has honest weights and is always true to his word. And he says, surely he's guaranteed a place in Olam Haba, in the world to come. And Eliyahu HaNavi says, yes, of course he has a place. And then the rabbi says, and look how this woman is giving tzedakah to the poor, how she's wandering through the marketplace and privately in dignified ways supporting those who are in need. She has a keen awareness of who needs a little help, a little lift through tzedakah, through generous giving. And Eliyahu HaNavi says, yes, of course, she has a place in Olam Haba as well. And so the rabbi says, okay, and who else? And Eliyahu HaNavi points to two brothers who are dressed in tattered clothing and are doing a juggling act. They are buskers in the marketplace. And so the rabbi goes over to them and says, please tell me, who are you? And what motivates you to do what you do? And they say, we are jesters, and we cheer up the depressed. Whenever we see two people who are quarreling in the marketplace, it can happen from time to time, we intervene and we strive to bring a smile, which will then in turn lead to shalom, to peace between them. The next story is from the early 19th century, a great Hasidic master, Nachman of Bratslav. Now, we know that Nachman of Bratslav was grappling with depression throughout his lifetime. He was probably bipolar. The way we can read his biography now, we can see high highs and low lows. And so he spent much time thinking about depression and made a spiritual practice out of pursuing joy. And he had all kinds of ways of pursuing the joy that he sought, including going out into the fields, going out into the forest, and emptying his heart to God in a loud outward prayer. But in his teaching of the book called Likutei Moharan, he talks about simcha, he talks about joy, and he pulls up a metaphor that everyone here knows, and that is the hora. Picture for yourself all the concentric rings that make up that joyful dance at weddings. And Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav says, when people are happy, they dance. And they're at the center circles. 1, 2, how many rings? All happy with a joyful dance of union. But inevitably, there are always some who are on the outskirts, who are feeling gloomy or low. And so it is up to those in the hora dance to reach out their hands to those outside and draw them in to the dance, to draw them into happiness. Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav says that even within his self, he feels those concentric rings. Sometimes he's on the inside of the dance, and sometimes he can only bear witness, and he's weighed down by the gloom of the demons in his life and the suffering of the world. And he says the best thing to do then is not to ignore the gloom, not to deny the depression, but instead to take it by the hand and to introduce it to the joy. That there needs to be a meeting, there needs to be an introduction between the suffering and the happiness. And that way, we are more likely to increase the odds that happiness will take hold. So I want to invite you, might be one of the reasons why you came tonight. Maybe you were prompted for a little lift through the music, through the prayer, through the instruments, through just being together on Shabbat. And now, if we're feeling filled up, we have a task, and that is to reach out, literally, to reach out to someone we know who might be feeling a little low and invite them into the circle, to introduce them into that joyful center, throughout the month of Adar and beyond. May it be a joyful one for each of us. Page 139, let's stand together.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת לה יוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגוהר עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוצר הארץ, ומשב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגובה מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפסולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום מהשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
The Mourners' Kaddish can be found on page 142. We invite the mourners among us to rise in your place if you are marking yahrzeit today, or if you are remembering a loved one who has died recently. We acknowledge you and extend our condolences to you. Today we mark the anniversary of the death of Florence Alter, Pearl Batcher, Harry Bain, Joseph Bleiberg, Samuel Borens, David Braidberg, Bernard Braun, Stephen Brooker, Abraham Cherendoff, Marcia Cohen, Albert Cohen, Maxwell Cohen, Celia Cooper, Gita Krengel, Evelyn Dunkelman, Lena Emsig, Walter Engel, Henry Faber, Shirley Finkelman, Dorothy Frankel, Rose Friedman, Sybil Geller, Samuel Godfrey, Etty Gold, David Goldberg, Sid Goldman, Joseph Goldstein, Sam Good, Rose Goodman, Esther Gorlicki, Ella Greenholtz, Faye Greenwood, George Gruber, Betty Halperin, Betty Kardish, David Kaufman, Sarah Kremlowski, Agnes Lantos, Samuel Liebel, Molly Lichtenberg, Earl Lyons, Lillian Martyr, Israel Martyr, Paul Mesber, Abraham Nashman, Rebecca Novak, Francis Pearl, William Piper, Earl Pullen, Jack Ritchie, Samuel Rohr, Herbert Rothschild, Joseph Selby, Nathan Shapiro, Helen Sherman, Jean Silver, Stanley Singer, Saul Stamen, Clara Stein, Arthur Sternberg, Tilly Sussman, Morris Tepper, Laura Wallace, Maxwell Wolfe, Jonathan Wolfe, and Mary Yallis. We also remember those who died most recently and whose families are in the period of Shloshim, of the first 30 days of mourning. They are Edward Adelson, Harvey Bohms, Rhoda Gilbert, Anna Gervich, Grigory Kanovich, Marian Kasdan, Joseph Leventhal, Robert Moskowitz, Les Solomon, Ben Steinberg, Paul Stott, Frida Taube, and Leland Werner. And I regret to announce the passing of our congregant, Donna Shankman. Her funeral will be on Sunday, and you can check the Benjamin's website after Shabbat for details of Shiva and tzedakah in her memory. Are there any other names to be remembered this day before Kaddish? Zichronam livracha, may the memories of each one be for a blessing. We stand together with our mourners to support them as they grieve and to praise God's name with these words. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen. May the source of peace send peace to those who mourn and comfort to those among us who are bereaved. And together we say amen.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen.
So once again, a welcome to the Intercultural Dialogue Institute. Please, after the service, give a warm welcome, and Rabbi Kay will be giving a tour of the sanctuary and answering any questions you may have. We're really delighted that you came tonight. Thank you. And Purim is coming, so the carnival is on Sunday, March 5th, 11 o'clock. There is still a need for volunteers, so if you just want to have a whole lot of fun and see a lot of cute kids, you can volunteer. And then Monday evening, March 6th at 7 p.m. is our intergenerational Megillah reading and Purim spiel and costume parade and talent show. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'achava v'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר לצייר מצרים. כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבר קודשך באחווה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. לחיים.
Amen, l'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen. Ki Shemara Shabbat, page 541.
כי ישמרה שבת אל ישמרני, כי ישמרה שבת אל ישמרני, אותי לעל ביד בינו וביני, אותי לעל ביד בינו וביני, כי ישמרה שבת אל ישמרני, כי ישמרה שבת אל ישמרני, אורי לעל ביד בינו וביני, אורי לעל ביד בינו וביני.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom.